Hi everybody, my name's Sarah and this is my channel, So Sarah Sewed. In today's video, I'm going to tell you all about my plans for October. Before I get into that, I'll just let you know what I'm wearing today. This is one of my several Billy sweaters or Billy sweatshirts by Tilly and the Buttons. This one I've made with the balloon sleeves and just the regular sweatshirt version. So it's very, very comfortable. This cotton is a French terry that I bought from Hansen Fabrics, and it's just 100% cotton and extremely comfortable to wear. I'm on holidays at the moment, I'm in lockdown, so I'm spending a lot of time just wearing comfortable clothing around the house. So this top fits that perfectly. So let's get into my plans for October. School returns on Monday. I am a teacher and I expect that I will be teaching online from home still for at least the first 2 or 3 weeks. But after that, probably around the end of October, I'm expecting to be going back to school at least a couple of days a week to be teaching some classes face to face. With that in mind, I've realized that I have been focusing my wardrobe a lot on tops and dresses and things that I can just wear comfortably as I'm teaching through a screen, and I don't have a lot of pants. So I am going to start my month of sewing with the Winslow Culottes by Helen's Closet. So I bought this beautiful cotton sateen, which is designed by Holly Sanders, and it's from Hansen Fabrics, and it's just absolutely beautiful. So I bought 2 meters of that, and that I'm going to use for the Winslow Culottes. I've made the Winslow Culottes before, and I made them sort of mid-calf length, or maybe slightly higher, which has been a really nice length for me. I'm considering making that length again, or possibly going a bit lower. So I'm not quite sure yet. I do have enough fabric, with my legs being quite short. I'm only 160 centimeters tall. This should be plenty to be able to make whichever length I prefer. But trying to think about what's going to be the most versatile and wearable for me, and it's probably going to be something around the midi length. So really looking forward to that. I've made these before, and when I've made them, I do the elastic waistband. I find that extremely comfortable, and a good hack which you can find on Helen's Closet's website. So I recommend that elastic waistband hack. You end up with just the pleats at the front rather than at the back. So pleats at the front and then just all gathered with elastic at the back for very comfortable pants. I'm definitely very attracted to and gravitate towards prints in my sewing, and I have plenty of beautifully printed tops and dresses, and soon to have these beautiful pants. But I realize I don't really have a lot of things I can wear with these kinds of pants. So the next thing I'm going to make is a Cielo top by Closet Core Patterns in this plain white cotton dobby. So this is 100% cotton with the little dobby spots on it. And I got that from Darn Cheap Fabrics. Got 1.5 meters, which will be plenty for view A of the Cielo top. Now this is actually one of the very first things I made last year when I started sewing my own clothes. I bought the Closet Core Learn to Sew course, or beginner's sewing course, which came with 3 patterns and a whole lot of video instructions, which I found absolutely excellent. The instructions taught me so much and gave me so much confidence as I then continued on and was able to understand the directions in other patterns. So I'm going to revisit this pattern, which I haven't made for about a year, and make view A, which is just the little top with the cropped sleeves. The next thing I'm intending to make has been on my list for a really long time, but I've been a little bit scared to make it because of a few reasons. The main one being that it has a lining. It's a dress by Friday Pattern Company. It's the Hughes Dress, and it is a beautiful short-sleeved A-line skirt dress with buttons all the way down the front. So I guess the buttons were one of the first things that also made me a little bit scared, but I am facing my fears with that, and I've made a lot of button-down tops recently. But the other thing that intimidated me a little bit, and especially reading through the patterns, was the lining. It just was a little bit overwhelming, so I've kind of kept putting it off and putting it off, but I think now is the right time to give that a go. I know Friday Pattern Company do have a sew along that I can follow as I try and make it. And I know other people have made sew-alongs too. I know Sewing Bunny, Michelle from Sewing Bunny, has a YouTube sew-along on her channel. So just being able to watch that kind of sew-along video, I'm sure will be extremely helpful as I try to make mine. The fabric I'm going to use for my Hughes dress is a linen cotton. Now this has been in my wardrobe all year. I received this for Christmas last year, and it's just been waiting for a project. So I've got 3 meters of this, which will be plenty for the Hughes dress. And it is, again, it's a Nerida Hansen print, and this is designed by Ellen McKenna. But a beautiful, colourful print, which I think will work really, really well with the Hughes dress. So that's a linen cotton, and it's kind of a mid-weight linen cotton. I think the Nerida Hansen fabrics are now doing a different blend, because it's not as, the new linen cottons that I've bought from them are not as heavy as this, but this is quite thick. So I think it'll be good in, you know, this weather that's not, it's warming up a little bit, but not very, very hot at this point. So I'm looking forward to that one. If you watched my recent fabric haul video, you will have seen that I recently bought quite a number of fabrics from Darn Cheap Fabrics, and one of them was this very pretty cotton jersey with these blue background and the daisies on it. So this one I'm intending to make the Galaxy tee, which is a free pattern by Pattern Scissors Cloth. And I've actually cut this one out, so that one's ready to be started sewing. So that's probably going to be the first project I do, to be honest, seeing that that one's ready to go. So that's just a simple t-shirt, but with lovely little cute puffed sleeves. So I think that will be a nice kind of elevated t-shirt that I'll be able to just wear casually on the weekends and around the house. One of my plans for September was I was hoping to be finished my current knitting project, which is the Novice Cardigan by Petite Knit. Unfortunately, shortly after filming my September plans video, I realized I'd made an enormous mistake on my Novice cardigan. And instead of knitting the cardigan with one strand of wool and one with mohair, I had been knitting with 2 strands of wool and 1 of mohair. So I didn't realize this until I'd almost run out of the thicker wool and wondered why. And I had to unravel the entire project and start again. So I have not finished my Novice cardigan yet, but I'm hoping that perhaps October will be the month that I finish. So I'll show you where I'm up to with it. So unfortunately, I did not realize this mistake until I had done all of the yoke. I had put the sleeves on yarn to rest, I think it's called. On hold, put the sleeves on hold, and I'd done a few more rows going around, and then I realized that this isn't right. But now, so once I started again, I'm now all the way down the body, and I'm about to bind off the hemband. So the next jobs will be to do the sleeves, and then I think it's called plackets, where I need to do the buttonholes and the buttons down the middle. So I'm hoping that I'll finish that one in September. In October, I mean. So now that I'm on the right track with that, I am hoping that I will finish that one in October, which will then allow me to get onto my next knitting project. So one of the reasons, or one of my motivations for wanting to learn to knit this year in the first place, was the amazing shawls that I've seen by Westknits, Stephen West of Westknits, and he runs a knit along every year, but it's a mystery one, which I found very appealing, and my mum has done them and I thought they look like great fun. So every week for 4 weeks you are given the next clue, but you have no idea what this shawl is going to end up looking like. And so I'm excited to be participating in my first one of those this year. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to keep up with the pace. I've asked my mum how long she thinks I will need to commit to the knitting each day on average, and she said probably about 2 to 3 hours. So I've sort of kept that in mind when I've been planning the rest of my makes for this month. If I'm doing 2 to 3 hours of knitting a day, plus I'm back at work, I'm probably not going to get a whole lot of time for too much else. So we'll see how we go. In this year's Mystery Knit Along, you need 5 different skeins of 4-ply wool, and it's recommended that you have good contrast in those colours. So I've been enjoying deciding what I'm going to use. I don't have really a yarn stash. I've just bought wool with definite purposes in mind, so I didn't have anything for this. So I used a local hand dyer called Liz. Her business is called Yarns by the Bay, and she has an Etsy shop, and I started with one of her variegated wools with lots of different colours in it, and then I pulled other colours from that to come up with this bundle. I don't have it yet. She's sending it today, so I'll just put a picture up of the 5 wools that I've chosen. I think they go beautifully together, and I have no idea what the design of the shawl will be, but I am just going to trust in the process, and I'm looking forward to how it comes together. So the one other project I would like to complete this month is an accessory. It's a hat. So with the return to school, I will soon be also returning to yard duty, and I do need to wear a hat for that. I'll be outside, and I do have a hat, but it's quite tight around my head, and having a fringe and hats that are tight don't go so well together. So I would like to make just a looser hat, but with a wide brim. I'm going to make the Serpentine Hat by LB Textiles, and this pattern recommends that you use mid to heavyweight wovens such as denim or cotton drill or anything else that sort of keeps its shape. I'm going to try and use some heavier linen cottons that I've got in my stash that were leftovers from other projects. So these are some of the linen cottons I had from Nerida Hansen last year, and as I said before, they're kind of a thicker weight or heavier weight, and I think that I'll choose 1 or 2 of these to make my hat. So the first one is a Lisa Congdon design, which I love. I originally used this to make an Ashton top by Helen's Closet, but I've got, you know, a fair amount of that left over. And I also have this, which is another Ellen McKenna fabric, and this one I made a Nerida Hansen smock dress out of last year, and I love this one. So one of those maybe, or otherwise I'm probably also going to have a little bit left over from the Hughes dress, so I might even make a matching hat out of that one. I think you can make this hat reversible, so I might even be able to wear it 2 different ways with 2 different fabrics. I'm probably going to use interfacing on the brim as well, just so it's just got that little bit extra structure, not too floppy. So they are all of my plans for October. I think I've kept it realistic, knowing that I'm returning to work on Monday, but we'll see how we go. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I'll see you soon with my September Makes video. Thanks for watching.